What you playing, man? What you hearing, man? What you rating, man? Vinyl owner, vinyl boner. 2-hour drinking is on. Time to hear that song. Vinyl countdown. Vinyl countdown.
When it's said a b-boy is killing it, it's when a b-boy hits all of the beats in a song, or he is owning the floor.
A group of friends that we would come gather at my house. A couple of us would be carrying our boom boxes. I had one of the double tape deck ones. It was actually my sister's, but I borrowed it from her because mine was a single tape deck.
Unbeknownst to her.
There were like 5 of us, and we would take our cut up refrigerator box and carry our stuff down from my house to the Marlin Heights pool where the shuffleboard court was.
Let me stop you right there. How awesome is it that when breakdancing finally hit Weirton, the Hicks family bought a new refrigerator? Imagine if that was still kicking out cooling jets. You would never be a breaker, Bill.
1984 through 85, we were listening to
and buying major appliances.
Gals by Malcolm McLaren. I mean, we're talking Grandmaster Flash, and we were already listening to the Run-D.M.C album, the self-titled, the first album, King of Rock. Any song that had the good drum and bass breaks, those were the sweet spots. And we had them all identified and queued up, and we were just going, just boom, one song after another.
Did everybody dance, or was one of you designated the DJ that would do the...
Were you you were a crew?
A cipher is a circle formed by a group of dancers wherein music plays, and anyone may step in and dance if he wants to.
We were just friends and schoolmates that all danced. We even performed for like the school talent shows and stuff.
Now, did one guy control the music, or did everybody participate in the groove?
In breakdancing, there are common terms used by breakdancers.
Everybody was dancing. It was a 5-circle b-boy dancing thing,
and Bill,
that's what we did. Or we were synchronizing.
He was in the b-boys before
stuff. Synchronized together,
where they practice together, battle each other, or simply freestyle.
We competed to see who could actually do the longest and fastest head spins. I was like a king of the head roll, and I was particularly good at popping and locking and body waves and the arm waves and all that stuff.
And I understand, and I apologize for I keep interrupting you because this
is
blowing my mind.
Weird in history.
I want to see this.
And you have no shame, right? You five guys are out there.
We performed on the stage of the Lions Club.
Bill, your life is so fascinating. You've managed to grab on to like fads and things with such fury. Name the other guys.
Jonathan Boyd, Woodsy, D. Dizzy, J.H.O., Davey B.
Welcome to the Vinyl Countdown.
I'd like to have instructor.
Alright, we're here. This is the first time I'm doing this at Castle Wilson's. I appreciate you having us here. Welcome. We're going through season 2. We got a lot of good episodes coming up. Made our way to Bill Hicks, live in Charleston, West Virginia. He's Stealth right now. Yep. He picked the album for today, and that is Raising Hell by Run-D.M.C.
Oh, hold on. Right now, man about to do this head spin. He got his helmet on. Ready to go. Do a head spin.
Are we going to get any good Weird Junior High School stories about this?
I was in 6th grade when this came out. I was this was the summer before I went to junior high.
Now, was this at the same time as Licensed to Ill? Do you guys remember these hand to hand, like at the same exact time?
They overlap.
Yeah. Did anybody look up the connection?
Just shortly thereafter, I did.
Is it Rick Rubin?
No, I don't mean that. The first Rick Rubin
is everything, man.
What I mean is, were they actually
everything in '86?
Or maybe I'm jumping the gun, but were they actually in the hallways in the same places? Was there competition between these two albums that made the other one better? Or were they done?
I didn't read it.
Because they came out 3 months apart. They were definitely.
Beastie Boys didn't come on my radar until 7th grade.
It was the same summer they came. Licensed to Ill was released.
Run-D.M.C. came out, was popular in certain circles, and then got more popular with the Walk This Way came out. But at the same time, by that time, we're talking 5-6 months in release. Beastie Boys comes out, which has very similar parts like the Walk This Way with your rock riff that Rick Rubin was loving. What he did with LL Cool J, which came out also right around then.
Right, but my question being...
and it wasn't a competition, it was a...
brotherhood.
I think we need to face the facts, Charles. If someone were killing the great chefs of New Jersey, you would not be in danger.
It was a brotherhood.
I can't now, but there's been a big change of plans.
Rick Rubin came in and told him, don't do your rap, do the real rap. They said that Run and DMC did not want to do what he said on, and that Jam Master Jay talked him into it.
Jam Master Jay wanted...
Right, he talked him into listening to Rick Rubin and doing it the way that they said.
That's Rick Rubin.
But they said that LL Cool J and Run-D.M.C were more rivals than...
Well, let's hear what Bill...
Yeah, let's get back to
Bill. What made you pick it, Bill?
Why Run-D.M.C raising hell?
This is the Bill Hicks edition.
Well, I thought that it was really important for the podcasting world to hear the unheard voices of white middle-aged men and their memories of
who knows rap better.
West Virginia.
Hill Jacks from West Virginia.
Let's
get their point of view.
Glenn that liked rap, I can sympathize.
It was the first triple platinum album. It was one of the first albums that I can remember knowing when it was going to come out, or a drop, as the kids on the internet say these days.
That's true.
And I was actually in line on the day that it was going to be released at like the National Record Mart or whatever was over at the Steubenville Mall.
You know you were a listening booth guy.
Waiting for the store to open and bought it with some money I'd scraped together.
How did you know? Because of the MTV Walk This Way, or?
Well, I do not remember that. I know that I'd already been listening with my friends. We were already breakdancing kids from 4th grade forward.
Yeah, that was
breakdancing kids in 4th grade.
Yeah. I was
I like what
we had a different.
I know this was
King of Rock was right before
King of Rock was the one that got big. So like when they were making this album, they were already kind of big. But they had no idea how big they'd be in like a year.
They were
but they already thought they were already the biggest rappers on the planet because of King of Rock.
John, they played at Live Aid. They were the only hip hop group that played.
They mentioned that, right?
They stepped on stage.
There's
at Live Aid.
Yeah.
The people gave.
Chris is good. Lines provided.
That's for
when you get your 2-hour drink on, you forget the words to my team.
2-hour drink is on.
You know, we haven't done any kind of album like this, so I wanted to. I just chose it because it's something I still love, and I don't listen to it all that often.
So listening to this and then doing a little bit of ENet research really made me want to watch Crush Groove.
Yeah, I did think of that.
Tougher than
I have to admit, Crush Groove.
I didn't. It made me not want to watch Tougher Than Leather because I had seen that when it came out.
This time, somebody else is going to be dancing to the music.
And this did bring back fond memories of the Fat Boys.
I snuck in to see Tougher Than Leather at the...
Ooh, that's...
That is.
The showdown. Run-D.M.C. Tougher Than Leather.
I'm going to throw it over to Justin because I love the fact that he's among you all in person.
Yes.
And he's a resident professional.
All right.
Recording guy.
He's a pro.
Commander Powell's coming home today, and everything is going wrong. Look at this. Look, here.
I drove 5 hours.
Can I wager how your review goes?
Yeah.
I have Schick's review.
I got pictures of you with little rope chains.
All right, let's get
pretty much
down to brass.
Raising Hell. I have no recollections of this whole album. So I was trying to think what I was doing, what I listened to around this time. This is like a last year. And I have like Janet Jackson written down there. I don't know. I was like listening to pop music or something that year. I don't know.
Is this Rhythm Nation year?
To Powell's Heart and Soul. I mean, I don't know. That was like a big, pop year for me. The album itself, I mean, the first 3 tracks I think are fantastic. You can't think of the titles of those tracks without thinking of Run-D.M.C. Peter Piper, It's Tricky, and My Adidas. If anybody was to say any of those words related, that's how big Run-D.M.C. was at the time. Like that's how big they were at the time. Those songs sink in all of our collective memories that's Run-D.M.C. The rest of this album has nothing on here that I could care about. I just found a lot of filler. I found a lot of stuff that I didn't like. Dumb Girl, You Be Illin'.
It was awful.
It is awful.
You know, I have something in there. If Dave says that this is fun, if you go before me, I can say shut up. Because it's not fun. It's dumb. I have right here, it's dumb and outdated, Dave. For me personally, and maybe it's not fair. Maybe just because I was not into hip-hop until 2 years later, and It Takes a Nation of Millions and Straight Outta Compton came out. And then Paul's Boutique, 3 Feet High and Rising a year after that. To me, that was when I got into hip-hop more. And what I wrote down here, too, was like, if you compare that and that year, like, to Raising Hell sounds so pedestrian to those albums.
I smell listening booth.
I think it's the evolution of the form.
It could be, but
I smell listening booth.
I admire Raising Hell. I know what it did. But I don't fully enjoy it, and I gave it a long, strong 5.
I smell listening booth.
5.9. I'm sorry, Bill. I didn't mean to drive 6 hours
to rain on your parade.
This was not one of my favorite albums.
I smell listening booth.
Theories about it and what it meant for hip hop, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna get some final boners. Because I didn't, especially when You Be Illin' got on.
Says here, grease the bun pan.
Here's the thing, I think, when you say you never heard of Run-D.M.C. really until this, right? So, but most of the weird, like, maybe it was Roger, but we had, you know, the King of Rock stuff was a little earlier.
I live out there by him, and I'm from Hollis. That is right. Run is talking to chicken.
One thing I learned listening to this is there's a phrasing called B-boy.
The competition between two B-boys. The winner is decided by either judging or the loudness of the cheers of the crowd.
And I always thought that was the Beastie Boys. B-boy, bull bass. Beastie Boys are always like in my B-boy stance. Well, I talked to one of my black friends, since I knew this. And I mentioned...
I talked to my black friend.
We all talked to this guy.
I talked to one of them, so I have multiple.
Terrence.
Is he listening to this? Or what?
I don't know. No, probably not.
Is he a fan? Or?
He
will be now.
When you say B-boy stance, he did the pose, but he doesn't think of that as the Beastie Boys.
No,
because B-boy is a style of rap.
Ed, you know Ed was illin'. Don't blame it on Ed, man. Don't blame nothing on Yo, Warren. I don't hear about it, man.
This is the best B-boy album ever made.
I would
This
agree
is
with
the
that.
end of B-boy.
Yes, and
License
the
to
transition
Ill,
into...
Then when the Beastie Boys come out 6 months later with License to Ill, that was the beginning of something else. You start off, and it gets so strong. And it's like, if you can't help but think of License to Ill. And they're neck and neck. Those first 4 songs. I'll leave Walk This Way In, but I did skip it this week.
I
don't hate it like
so
you
many
maybe,
times.
but I'm done with it.
I can hear it
So
note for
I
note in
wish
my
that
head.
That fifth song, when I don't hate You Be Illin', but that second side, okay, they both come, they're both in third gear, License to Ill and Raising Hell. They hit, you flip that tape, and Paul's Boutique hits 5th gear, or Paul's Boutique, License to Ill, and just takes off. It becomes better.
I mean, what's just the complete dud? Is it Dumb Girl or is there something else?
Dumb Girl, and I gotta say, the getting to the 2-side angle. Is it, what's the Perfection?
Perfection.
Garbage.
Right, Perfection is trying to be that cool track that ends a side, and it's terrible.
That's
that's the dud on the album. It's trying, I know where it was, and I know it's not meant to be in the middle of a CD, and it is bad. When it hits side 2, it's like they downshift, and it clunks out, and it falls apart. So I give it a 7.
I smell listening booth.
A 7, maybe a 7.5 EBs.
I smell listening booth.
I had a hard time reviewing this.
What's a bun pan?
I think that's what prospectors used when they were panning for bun.
I couldn't tell whether or not how much nostalgia played in my review, and I didn't think that was fair to Run-D.M.C. because you had to think of what was available before Run-D.M.C. style came out, actually. But it just simply hasn't aged well.
And right about now, we got my man DJ Run on the wheels of steel.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
It's hard to enjoy the record as much as I used to, and I know I used to.
Some of it sounded really dated.
I would say almost every track. It's Tricky still has so much of a hook.
Yeah.
That it still can grab you. Eastside picked up Whammo, so I heard a lot of Run-D.M.C. and we watched Soul Train a lot.
Soul Train.
the hippest trip in America.
Just because it was a hell of a good show.
I agree with that.
Baloo is a bear.
And the Beastie Boys grew exponentially, and Run-D.M.C just kind of tried to change their persona every now and then, but it didn't work. They didn't grow. They were just changing it up. First 4 songs I like. Is It Live? I like that. And then Perfection Stinks. Side 2. I like Raising Hell's great. It really is a good song.
Yeah. That was the one, yeah.
Well, it could still come out.
That was the one I said.
That's the feather in their cap. You Be Illin' did not. That used to be fun. Dumb Girl's terrible.
I smell listening booth.
I'd land the whole thing maybe like a...
I smell listening booth.
2018, a 6.2.
Oh!
1986, I probably would have given it an 8.
I have to give a quick shout out to Roger Furby's Pinto.
What is his Pinto getting?
Actually, his Pinto's not gotten enough love on the Bible.
Every episode, there should be it.
Talked about everybody else's car except Roger Furby.
Don't put a sink on it. The faucet's broken, buddy!
Just loved Raising Hell.
Forgot to call the plumber.
By the way, I never bought a Kangol hat. Dave, your turn.
I didn't really get in this album when it first came out. Like I said, I was more of a Beastie Boy guy. But I have Peter Piper, It's Tricky, My Adidas, Walk This Way. I all have, I mean, they're all good songs. Peter Piper I only gave it 7. It has the line, not bad meaning bad, but mad meaning good, so that white people understand what they're talking about.
It's like a legend.
Run-D.M.C.
The rest of this album, except for You Be Illin', I just give 5s across the board.
Raising Hell?
Yeah.
What? You're wrong.
You Be Illin', I give a 9 because of the bass. The bass is great. It's Tricky, I have as the best song on the album because of the My Sharona riff. Yeah, everything else, I have, like, the Cult album we talked about was built off of the guitar riffs. This is built off of the
Rick
beats.
Rubin, you say?
Yeah, this is all based on the beats, and to me, all the beats were boring.
I sense a bell with Rick Rubin.
Do you think we've hit a Rick Rubin quote?
Should
we not allow any more Rick Rubin albums?
I was actually just going to say they're not allowed to do a Rick Rubin associated album for the remainder of 2018.
I have on this Proud to Be Black has the best intro, but just dies.
Yeah,
like
maybe that's
it
it.
comes out and
It
it's like oh yeah, you know, I'm with it, and then
the rest of the
song.
Yeah, the rest is like
a greatest hits Run-D.M.C. album is about what I'm you know what I could deal with.
Yeah.
Dave, your turn.
I smell listening booth. I give this a 6.5 overall.
What about back then?
Back then, probably did a lot of fast forwarding. I had the cassette. I know like I said, I was more into the Beastie Boys.
The Beastie Boys being better rappers than Run-D.M.C.
I wouldn't say that.
But
I'd
it's
say
true.
that.
It don't matter if you say it or not.
No,
maybe they're less obstinate.
I'm talking about the beats. These songs were based on the beats.
They do have much better
the
beats.
Beastie Boys have the riffs. You know, like they cut all that Led Zeppelin stuff into those songs, and it's like, oh yeah, I recognize Led Zeppelin.
Bill's asleep over there.
Bill, wake up.
I'm listening.
I smell listening booth. But that's where I'm at. Chris probably has fonder memories than I do.
Now, what was Run-D.M.C. like in New Cumberland? I mean, what did you hear it at Thomas and Run State Park?
No.
No?
I heard it.
Did you have
it?
No, I heard it there.
I heard it on MTV.
That was
I
my
heard the Walk This Way.
This was the song? This was the gateway?
Yeah.
Okay.
So no King of Rock for you?
No. Yeah, I remember buying this tape. I had to have my mom buy it for me because it had the parental guidance explicit lyrics sticker on it.
Shout out to Mrs. Wilson.
That's right.
Describe your old jam box. Did you have a jam box, or did you just have a
I had
stereo
a
system
box.
that had a cassette
I
player?
had a Panasonic, one of those long, skinny...
Double cassette?
High-speed dub?
All right. When you bought it at Hills?
You had the high-speed dub.
Do you remember buying it? Did you have to reach into one of those cages, and did it have that big plastic thing you had to saw off when you got home?
No, mine.
I just want to listen to this.
Yeah.
You're trying to pry it with like a butter knife to snap it. You break the tape case.
Yeah,
You know?
I severed off a finger trying to open this thing.
Buddy, I think that's the bun pan. I hope it's the bun pan. Please let it be the bun pan.
Okay, now what?
Back to the cassette cages. We used to go as
Love drive.
we would go so we could peek in at the Scorpions covers. You had to
You had the circle.
You had to pull it out.
You couldn't get your fist out.
It's a candy bar.
I just remember candy
every
bars.
music store, every record store that had sold cassettes.
They had a whole.
You had to reach in and grab
Everybody
it
would go
and
down to
look
the
at
S
it.
section.
I don't remember that.
Get that Scorpions tape so we can look
Scorpions
at
had boobies on them.
Well, maybe I can fix the sink.
No, first we gotta fix the cake.
I'm listening.
So back to
Back to Chris.
that. This will make the
I think
outtake.
we just all had
That's
some
right.
cassette boners right
That's
there.
right, we
That was,
did. They were not
some
vinyl.
CBs right there.
What is that, polyester?
I'm listening.
Peter Piper has a 10
DR.
for me. That thing is wonderful.
Put that
It's just
CR button down.
got the best beat and scratching. I heard that, and it was completely different than anything I'd ever heard. I got the. It's tricky. It's all right. It holds up sort of well, but it's still good. I got a 9 for that. My Adidas is another 10. That's just perfection. Walk This Way is classic. It was a great video. You know, that's the song.
It was a
that-
good video.
I like that.
It was, and I don't care what Justin says, it was fun.
Dave didn't say it. Dave
Well, make me
was
get my
like,
notes out. People go, I don't know Eris, but they go, you know, sweet. And you go, oh yeah.
Yeah, Is It Live is good, but it's not my favorite. Perfection is not good, but it's not the worst track.
It's not?
But it's not
Well, I'm in for a treat.
not
What's
the
worse
worst.
than perfection?
Dumb Girl.
Yes.
Dumb
I had
Girl is
perfection at a
leaps
0
and
and
bounds.
Dumb Girl at 0.1.
I have to give perfection a
0.0.
slight edge there.
You Beelin's okay for the comedic factor. Raising Hell is fantastic. That's like spicy butter. The last half of the album just tapers off. Not quite as strong as it starts out, but overall I give this thing an 8. As soon as I started playing this, it was like the first time I ever played it. It took me back to 6th grade.
Now let's segue.
Okay, let's see. You bake a potato at 300 degrees, and a cake is about 10 times the size of a potato. So bake it at 3,000 degrees.
This to me was not only a huge moment because it had the crossovers, whether it would have been Run-D.M.C or somebody else, the big after they had been at Live Aid, that it paved the way for a ton of people who would have never even to go back and who would have never known who Grandmaster Flash was or Curtis Bull or Africa Bambaataa or anybody would have listened to them. I think it is the end of that whole back alley party where somebody just sets up a couple of turntables and starts scratching records on their favorite breaks and drum beats, and having an MC who's just there to self-aggrandize and say, I'm the best, I'm going to kick everybody else down because I'm the greatest MC. This was kind of the end of that era, but it went out with a bang of commercial success. I think it's a crane kick moment. But just getting into the actual album itself.
Yes.
Peter Piper, great song, still good, and I love that they open the whole thing almost like they're opening the show. Looking back on It's Tricky, I only gave it like a 7.5 or an 8. My Ideas, I still love. That's it's kind of still one of their best songs in my mind. I love the lyrics. I gave it a 9. Is It Live? I didn't even think I'd like it that much because I remember it being one I was lukewarm on as a kid. And I used to sometimes fast forward. I had the magnetic tape. But actually, I like Is It Live quite a bit, and I like the background music. You know, mind you, a lot of the songs that I was listening to then, and I still want to hear them now, and it makes me start to feel the movement that I was looking for. Perfection wasn't it. That was not a song in the rotation. That was one you had to skip. The break beats aren't there to dance to. I think the best song on the album is Hit It Run. I give that my top.
That's your big
top 10.
Your big VB? A 10?
Yeah.
10 VBs?
Yes, but Hit It Run just takes off at the beginning of the song and grabs you and goes. You Be Illin', I love the bass line just like Dave did. That was one we danced to.
Not a dry eye at the Lions Club when you were there. All those Vietnam and Korea War vets tearing up when you would be busting out a little You Be Illin', popping and locking.
You Be Illin' it couldn't hold up at all for me. But I don't hate it.
Nor anybody else.
And Proud to Be Back, it starts really good and then it just crawls along and isn't there, and it's not a song we dance to. So
I wonder why.
1986 Bill gives this a 10, and 2018 Bill gives this album a solid 8.
Bill, that your review incorporates something that none of us goofballs can, and that's, can you dance to it?
The cake is burning!
So who's in the booth then, Bill? Before you leave.
Justin, you are in the booth.
I smell listening booth.
You are in the booth.
Listening booth for you.
I was close.
Because
Did not make it.
Because of that .9, you just went a little bit down.
Should have said 6.6.
Final countdown.
I can't wait to edit this.
Final countdown.
Well, Charles, at least we saved the chocolate fudge cake.
Yeah, only now it's charcoal fudge cake.
Tell us about this album in your gangland lifestyle, Bill.
Yes, exactly. We're on a municipal pool's concrete
Shuffleboard courts.
It always leads to
Bocce courts.
That was our large flat surface on which to cardboard.
It's a shame that it's going to have to get edited down.
85. So 86 comes along. This is like May of 86-ish, I think, when this album came out.
It was,
We were all
summertime.
ready for it. We were excited to have it. But obviously, me then, I would have given this album a 10. Listened to it a lot. But here's what I'm talking about, coming back full circle to what John was saying. And if somebody said, Bill, you have to dance to a song like Rosie Hill right now, let's see it.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Yes, let's see it.
Got the break beats.
At some point, their credibility is so in question. If I've done anything, I hope that I've shown people the little man behind the levers in The Wizard of Oz, because
the final countdown.
It's a small group of guys who decide who they want and who they don't, and then they decide what the rules are for you that don't apply to anybody else. So that's arrogance that I don't have to put up with.
I'm listening.